Hello, Hamilton City. My name is Kyle, and I'm the founder and CEO of Air Language. Very excited to meet with you all today. I've been talking with Andre for some time now, as well as one of the teachers, Ms. Sims, uh, kind of about how to integrate Air Language into the classroom. And so I thought I would give a brief presentation. Andre asked me to give a brief presentation, and this is the second go around. So hopefully we'll get rid of some of those hiccups that we had in the first one. This is me and Nick. We are co-founders of Air Language. I have a teacher background. I taught ESL for like 12 years around the world, but especially in U.S. high schools. Nick's a tech guy. He's a pure tech guy, and so we met, and we have a lot of shared interests and values, and so he's from Wisconsin. I'm from Seattle originally. I live in Texas now. And yeah, it's a pretty great partnership. This year has been a year of tremendous growth. I brought him on as a CTO about a year ago. And since then, things have really taken off. We doubled the number of books that we offer. We've had a bunch of new features, which I'll share with you. And yeah, right on into the future. Very exciting things happening. I'll tell you all about them in just a little bit. But before we get to those things, I thought I'd talk a little bit about the trends, how Air Language works, and how it might fit into Hamilton City and into your classroom, perhaps. Right now, it's just meant for ESL, but it looks like the direction we're heading is bigger. It's a lot bigger. Here are a few of the trends based off of my own experience as a teacher and a lot of the conversations that we've had with partners around the country. There are basically three trends and challenges that three categories of trends and challenges that people are facing these days across the country. The first one is diversity within the ESOL classroom. Guys, imagine having students of mixed language, obviously mixed levels, but also mixed educational background. Some of them have never touched a computer before either, so technological background either. They all have different needs, different wants, different desires, and so it's a very diverse group of people are English learners, and it's really hard for one teacher to meet the needs of all of these students within that one classroom. So what we've done traditionally in the English language classroom is try and give content that kind of adjusts, or at least it's lower, so that our lower students can, our lower level language learners can, let's say, attach to some of the content. But the problem is a lot of that content is childish. It's not meant for secondary students, middle, high school students. It's meant for primary students. And so it's really frustrating. And it, quite frankly, it turns kids off, and they stop trying altogether because they're treated as infantile. And finally, the final category of problems that we've seen, or challenges that we've seen around the country, is a lack of system. And that lack of system doesn't really promote positive habits that result in real language growth. So what happens is you see pockets of growth. You have really great teachers here and there, and you have maybe groups that are a little bit maybe easier to teach in some areas, and so those students tend to grow a lot faster than let's say you have students that you have a school where you have continual enrollment throughout the course of the year. I mean, imagine trying to teach that. I just taught them how to write a paragraph, and then we just get a new student. It's frustrating. And I suppose that if given an infinite amount of time, we could do it all. Teachers could do it all. But as we all know, time is the fundamental challenge that we all face. How can we get the most out of the time that we have? So just to make matters that much more difficult, this diversity that we're talking about is increasing. And believe me, I love diversity. My wife is Russian. I've lived all around the world. I'm just here to say that diversity it's difficult, and I don't think that's a bad thing. It just requires new solutions. According to WIDA, as that diversity increases, proficiency in our English learners is dropping as well. And there are states all across this country that are not adapting at the secondary level. If you look at Florida, over 3/4 of the English learners are beginner intermediate. That means they're just not progressing. And in Texas, that's quite apparent. Last year, they grew on it was an annual test. It's called the Tell Pass. Almost 3/4 of them did not grow one level or more. And in California, it's a little better than Florida, but that's basically because of the necessity to learn English in Florida is so much greater. But about half of the students who are identified as I think multilingual learners, they call them there, are beginner intermediate students. In New York, it's a little bit disheartening to see that 37% of the students who are identified as EL are not graduating. It's pretty sad. And to me, I mean, in my own personal classroom, that's unacceptable. That was unacceptable. Ohio, we are seeing us get a little bit closer to what's happening in other parts of the country. In the last 10 years, we've seen 41.9% increase in English learners to a total of 80,000 English learners in Ohio. And those are concentrated in specific places. Some of you are seeing that in some of your classrooms. Really, only a third of English learners in Ohio speak Spanish. That means, 66% of students speak one of 90 plus other languages. And that makes things challenging. It's that diversity thing again, And in 2020, among English learners, there was a 68% graduation rate. I can't imagine it has gone up in the past 5 years with the increase in English learners. So some schools are doing it right, though. Not everybody is suffering. Schools who committed to doing air language 2 to 3 times a week, they, for 20 minutes at a time, grew 0.45 levels on average per month. That basically means they went from, it puts them on the trajectory to go from zero English to just beyond intermediate by the time the annual language test comes around. This is multiple different tests, different states, but the idea is basically the same. A lot of the criteria are the same on these tests. I'm going to show you a little bit about air language and kind of how it works. It's pretty simple. It's available on all devices. Each book takes 5 to 10 minutes long. Students can begin reading in one click once they're in the app. We have to make it simple because a lot of the students coming into this country, many of them have never touched a computer before getting here. And so the tech barrier is strong for sure. The books are really pretty simple. There's an image on every page and text below that, and then there's also an audio button as well. Books are organized by topic and level. After each book, there's a really quick quiz, and students are able to choose books at their level. They get to decide what they want to learn. If they don't know a word, they just click on it. A picture pops up with a caption beneath it. They can add that to their dictionary, save it, and then create flashcards and cool things like that. One really, really cool thing that a lot of teachers really like is our reading conference portal. So the system works like this. Students come into class, they take out their devices, they begin reading. They do that for about 20 minutes or so. While they're doing that, The teacher pulls students one by one to the desk and has a little reading conference with them, talks to them about what they've been reading. They can mark down, they can record all of that information in our reading conference portal. If they click on this button right here, they are given our library of books, and they can pick any book. And while the student reads a book out loud to them, or while they talk about the books, teachers are able to pull up this checklist right here, and they can mark off those guiding questions, the sounds that are being decoded, things like that. And finally, this is our student analytic section. Pretty cool, really. You're able to see how much students have been reading, the reading goals that you're setting. That was in the previous that reading conference portal as well. The words that they are adding to their picture dictionaries, and the questions that they're answering incorrectly. We have this thing called the progress check. It's like a really quick quiz that you send out to students to determine their levels. And so you're able to see the questions they're answering incorrectly on that, as well as the questions they're answering incorrectly in the books. The next step is what we all see coming. It's an AI reading tutor. Her name is Ari, and we are so excited about all that she offers to Air Language, to students using Air Language. Right now, she is a chatbot. Basically, students are able to talk to Ari and hear back and have a little conversation about books, what they read and stuff. But it is a standalone feature right now. The next step with Ari is to integrate her into the books, so that students are able to have a book right there and talk with her about what they've been reading. And it kind of marches along that Bloom's hierarchy. That's that's what she's based on, really. So that's very exciting to me. And what's cool about that is there's so much data that Ari will be able to collect in those reading conferences. She'll be able to kind of synthesize the data and send it back to the teacher, aggregated with the rest of the student data. That way, teachers are able to not only look at individual data, but also class-wide data. What's the breakdown? What needs to be taught? Things like that. Really a pretty cool idea. I'm really excited about it. Wish I had that when I was learning Spanish. The benefits of using Air Language, I'm sure you could come up with quite a few, but the data, like I just mentioned, there's less planning. I mean, imagine having 20 minutes a day where you didn't have to plan. You just put students on there and you had little conversations with them. You don't have to plan for that. Deeper relationships are inevitable when you are meeting one-on-one with students in our reading conference portal. And those deeper relationships are founded on the progress of the individual student. That's pretty exciting. And there's obviously that personalized learning path. That's the trajectory that I think that we all see in education, at least as supplemental to the more communal aspect of the classroom. You know, a little bit of both is, I think the path that we want to go down. Students seem to be really loving Air Language. One student said that it changed his life. He was not. He had decided he wasn't going to continue to interact with the language anymore, and finally, Air Language gave him language that was right just beyond his level, and it appropriately challenged him. Other students are feeling as if they're actually learning. One student loves it. His teacher told me that he said something like libertad, liberty. Liberty is what Air Language gives me, the freedom to learn whatever he wants to learn. Teachers are loving it as well. One thing I wanted to highlight is there's a history teacher in Washington State who is using it with their SPED students, and some of these students are English learners, some of them are, dual served, some of them are not. And yeah, that's pretty cool, because this teacher was telling me that that they one of their students wasn't learning anything. At the end of each day of learning, the teacher would ask this student, "Hey, will you mark down write down one thing that you learned today?" And he couldn't do it. And this was, week after week, this would happen. Finally started using our language, and things changed. So that's really exciting. Air Language is integrated with ClassLink, with Clever. Pretty exciting about that, because single sign-on. And finally, here's how we stack up against some of our competitors. You have your traditional textbooks and your traditional books. Those are all great. They have their place. Some of those features that we have on our, the reading conference portal, the picture dictionary, the audio, those things can't be in your traditional books, traditional textbooks. When it comes to language learning apps, I think that the big way that we stand out against them is they really push the output. They really want students to be speaking. So basically it comes down to say this, repeat after me, that kind of thing. And that really does put the cart before the carriage. The carriage before the horse, right? Something like that. Yeah, that really does put the cart before the horse. But what we do is we emphasize input. So students read, they get the language, and then they can take that and have their conversations and teach it with classes, with Ari, with stuff like that. Pricing is competitive. We're lower than many of our competitors. And we really look forward to working this upcoming year, continuing to work with Hamilton City. We're excited about where we've gone so far, and yeah, the next year just represents a whole new set of opportunities to grow. So thank you. If you'd like to talk with me, if you have a question, please ask. Please send me an email. My email address is kyle@airlanguage.io. Love to talk with you, and yeah, have a wonderful day.